Welcome. My name is Shannon, and this is Your Wealth Threshold, the art of allowing life to spoil you. Doesn't that sound delicious and delightful? And the answer is yes. You are likely a person who is out there in the world asking for more money, better relationships, a new career, things like that. And you don't know that while you are asking for those things, while you can feel those things in your system, while you can picture them with vivid imagery, that your wealth threshold is keeping you in a very familiar, very safe, because it may not feel safe, but it's familiar, so it's safe place. And when those things come in, you're batting them away and you don't even know it. So, this is the space for you to fucking stop doing that, right? But it is energetic, it is sometimes unconscious, often unconscious. So, you are going to get the tools to expand your threshold, lift up your ceiling. Maybe your previous ceiling becomes your floor. You're in the right place because you want to feel spoiled. You want to feel supported. You want to feel held by life and in your relationships. You already know how to do the holding. You already know how to do the giving, the listening, the providing, the supporting, the doing, the and you want some of it back. So here we go. First, I want to talk about wealth. I will probably use money in my examples a lot and for you to play with a lot because it's a really easy, it's numbers. So it's really easy to tell where you are with that. It's a lot harder to measure other types of wealth on a scale. So I will use money as an example a lot, but obviously wealth is not just money. And obviously all the examples that I gave are not just about money. Your ability to receive is your ability to receive. So what does wealth mean to you? And I'm a big fat proponent of tracking it, like write it down or create a voice note or leave your answer in the comments or whatever. Does it come to you as a picture? Is there like a vision of like, this is the life that I will be experiencing that feels wealthy? Is it like different tendrils of your life? Like, okay, my bank account will be like this, my relationships will be like this, my career will be like this, my children's experience will be like this. Does it come in pieces? Or is it a feeling? Is it a feeling in your body? However you receive it, great. But tell me, what is wealth to you? And if you don't know, then you don't know when you're going to feel that way. So, good chance you've been having a lot of lack experience. And so you want to know what the difference is for you. So, what does wealth feel like? What does wealth look like? What does wealth sound like, smell like, taste like, be like, life like? Break it down. Then, the other thing just in this intro video is I want you to get familiar with your wealth threshold. Now, this is a good one to use money as an example. Again, easy to track. And if you haven't already, grab pen and paper. Gonna be writing some stuff down. Your wealth threshold. How do you know when you've gone too high or too low? And the answer is you will, if you have gone too low in your threshold, you pull yourself back up. If you've gone too high in your threshold, you'll sabotage yourself and bring yourself back down. So the first thing you want to write down is how much money do you make? If you have a regular job, regular hourly or salary, this should be pretty easy to answer. How much money do you make? And you can put weekly, monthly, yearly, etc. Then, how much money do you have in your account right now? Like your main checking account. When you receive money, so let's say you get paid biweekly. So you receive a check deposited into your account, 2 weeks worth of work. I'm making up a number here. Let's say it's $5,000. You get that $5,000. Do you immediately spend, da 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 da, until you have $100 left for the rest of the 2 weeks? Do you receive it, have anything on auto pay, and then let the rest kind of sit there? Do you receive it, send it to savings or whatever? So think about specifically, you get the money in, and then how quickly do you go from the full amount that you received to whatever amount tends to be your bottom line in your account? Tune in to that bottom number. So the amount that you usually end up with before money comes in again. And notice as you tune into that number how it feels in your body. This is the bottom number of your threshold. And even if it feels like shit, this feeling, and let it like really feel it, really let your body go there, like feel the tension or feel the breath lock up or feel the nerve endings come alive or whatever happens in your body at this low number. And maybe it's a fine number. Maybe you're like, I'm cool. I just want to make more. Great. But whatever that bottom number is, let yourself fully be infused with that feeling of that number. And recognize that this feeling is very familiar to you and therefore feels safe to you. When you go below this feeling, when you go under this amount, then it feels not safe. And that's when you're like, okay, let me take action. Let me take action. Like it happens on its own. And then think of your high number, so whatever amount comes in on a regular basis. And notice how that one feels in your body. Notice if you have any stories around it, like if it's not enough. And recognize that this is another safety level for you. So both of these and the space in between are the place of safety for you. So when you go above this one, that's when you start to sabotage, break things down, do things differently to keep yourself in that safe level. Your wealth threshold, again, is about shifting this level of safety. So it feels safe to receive more. And so you start acting before you drop down into this lower range. So you're going to elevate your standards. You're going to elevate your energy. You're going to elevate your expectation. And it's going to be fun and easy, right? Yes, it is. So you can do this with any of the areas of life that you want to increase your wealth. And if you think about your relationships, like what level, and they might be different, like romantic versus family versus friends, like what level of intimacy, if that's one of the ways that you want to measure wealth, what level of intimacy feels good for you? Any of your wealth gauges, kind of check that out. Like, what is the least amount and what is the most amount that I normally handle? And then what do I want? So now, the wealth that you say you want, you receive $5,000 every 2 weeks. You typically have $50 left in your account before you receive money again. So your comfort threshold is 50 to 5,000. I want to offer, this is just kind of a bridge idea, that in other times in your life, your threshold was different. So it can absolutely be changed. Your expectation of the amount of money that's coming in, or again, any of these that we've talked about, changes over time. So you absolutely can change it. And we're going to collapse the amount of time it takes to change it. What amount of money in this example do you want to receive? Do you want to receive $10,000 every 2 weeks? Do you want to receive $2 million every 2 weeks? Whatever your answer is, write it down. And then think about, this is a fun little thought experiment. Think about receiving that amount of money and think about what you would do with it. Notice what happens in your body as you imagine receiving it. Notice how quickly, if this is true for you, it doesn't have to be. Notice how quickly your mind wants to spend it all to bring you back into your threshold. What's happening in your body as you're mentally spending the money. So if that's true for you, if you're like, I want $2 million every 2 weeks, as soon as I get that $2 million, I'm going to buy a plane and I'm going to go to Prada and I'm going to go to Louis Vuitton and I'm going to buy a gym and I'm gonna, like if you're like spend, spend, spend in your mind until you're back down to that $5,000 or $50. Notice what's happening in your body as your mind is spending it. This is the feeling that happens when you are breaking your threshold right now. Again, we're going to change it, but you want to recognize it. This is the beginning, recognizing your threshold. And even if you only listened, didn't write anything down, these thoughts are now part of your reality, and you're going to notice. You're going to notice when you're spending to get back down to a certain amount, or when you're starting a fight with your significant other because they asked you something personal about yourself and it felt like they were touching against a boundary and you didn't know how to say that. So instead you said some crazy ass shit to them and now you're not talking. I'll see you in the next video.